Beautiful souls, welcome to my channel. My name is Sanja and today we're going to be talking about insults, people that are insulting you, how am I dealing with it, and maybe how are you dealing with it, or you should be maybe dealing with it. Before we start, this video might be triggering to some, so if you don't like those types of videos, skip them over. And I had a short that said, in order for you to insult me, I must first value your opinion. And underneath there was a comment that said, we must first respect and care for another in order to actually value their opinion. And I'm here to say that, just to make you aware, when someone is insulting another person, if whomever that may be, whether it's our parents, whether it's our neighbor, whether it's whoever that may be, even maybe a person on the TV that you can see, if they're insulting other people, and you can see it's, based on who they are, it's based on, it's just whether they're aware of it or not, but they are insulting others. Do we really, really, really respect those people? And some will say, well, my parents are insulting and have been insulting me ever since I can remember, but I still respect them. However, what people are not aware of is that we usually tend to be and remain loyal, but we lose the respect. And this is why sometimes the relationship isn't at its best. That's why sometimes we feel like we're stuck. That's why sometimes we think we should say something, but we don't. Or when we say something, it turns out to be a fight. We don't know necessarily how to deal with it. And we know there's something, inside that needs to be resolved with them. And, or maybe with, professional help, but in relations to them. And we sometimes can't really recognize, what's really going on, how to do it, etc. It's mostly because we still think we respect them. However, we don't. We just stay loyal. And those are really two big differences that, if this can click for you, the actions that you can take towards that would be much clearer, much easier to make. And you would know, okay, it's not the respect for this person. Obviously I do love them, I do care for them, I wish them all the best, I want them to be happy, I want them to be healed, I don't want them to have that low vibration so they're insulting me as much. I want them to be on high vibration, because if they were happy they wouldn't be doing these things, and so on and so forth. However, the respect has been lost, and the sooner and better you realize this, the better will be for you to, again, maybe make a step forward and know, only you know what to do with it. However, are you loyal, or do you really respect this person? Make sure to make that distinguishment, because a lot of people, like I said, just stay loyal and they lost the respect, but they say they still respect them. I also wanted to, I think personally, the biggest insults and the most triggering that could be for us as human beings in general would be from our kids. And fortunately for me, my daughter is only 5. She just turned 5 recently, and she doesn't have the big, just yet tools to insult me. However, when teenager starts, I have no doubt that, not intentionally, but I know that our brain develops till we're 25. Someone even said till we're 26. And there are, parts of our brain, when they're developing or firing and everything, what is trying to, develop, that our parts where there's empathy is not as much active, and we're more selfish in those years than, which is biologically, natural. There's nothing wrong with it. And the reason why I'm saying this, if you can understand where they're coming from, they're not saying, if they're saying insults, if they're insulting you, if they're trying to insulting you, if they're saying those words, it's not necessarily because they mean it. It's not necessarily because that's the way you are, but they can't really maybe comprehend. There are a lot of hormones going up and down. There's many things that are happening a lot in the brain, in everything, every department possible. And if my daughter in the future were to insult me, I would know that her brain is developing, that her hormones are firing up and down, and that it's not intentional. So if you understand where someone is coming from, you're also not going to get insulted, even if you do respect them, even if you do care for them. And for me, like that's who my daughter is. Now, parents wise, my mother didn't insult me. She never called me stupid. She never called me I don't know, any of those words. She never even shouted at me, and which is complete opposite than from my father. Like, I got the worst from my father. And I think because I had those two different, completely different parents, that I was able, first of all, to understand where my father was coming from. That is, also I researched a lot of it, read a lot about it from, you know, psychiatrists, doctors, psychologists, read all the papers, the research, I really wanted to be informed, like, what is that? Can that be hereditary? How does it happen, etc., etc. So once I was able to understand where he's coming from, which happened, you know, years and years after I moved out, I did not feel, you know, that like my father insulted me, he did this to me, he did that to me, how dare he, was I not good enough for him, blah 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 blah. Because I understand where he's coming from. He didn't say that because I was like that. Mostly people say it, they say the things of who they are, maybe the comments that they received in the past, maybe the comments that they even heard from someone else insulting someone, so they just want to, you know, reuse those up. However, any single words that someone is saying, it's a reflection of them. So when you see the insults just just the vomit coming out of someone, it's not because of you, that you have nothing to do with it. This is how, you know, in that sense, I don't value people's opinion that insult me, because they are talking about themselves. And again, people that do insult others, I don't really necessarily respect them. However, even if you respect someone, even if you care for someone, and that person is insulting you, please know that their reflection of themselves is like you put a mirror in front of them and now they're talking to themselves. It's the same thing as if you were doing something. You might be saying certain things. You're, I don't know, fat, you're ugly, what type of clothes are you wearing? I don't know, whatever the insults that there are today. And keep in mind that that person is maybe how they feel about themselves, is maybe how they used to feel, how people used to tell them who they are, and now they believe that to be true. And they're just attacking someone else, but they're projecting themselves onto other people. So I'm really hoping this will click in. If you realize that no matter who is saying and speaking insults, it's a reflection of themselves. I remember someone saying that they had an ex and they kept in one moment calling them, you know, you look like a penguin. And then she said, whether later on or it was her ex, and she said, if you were actually to see him, he actually looks like a penguin. He was talking about himself, but he was calling me names. And I'm thinking, I don't necessarily know if I've ever met a person that looks like a penguin. That she said that was clear for me that day, that he was talking about himself. And every single thing that he was saying, that's who he believed that he is, without even realizing that he was talking about himself. Because if people were to actually realize, okay, I'm projecting myself onto another person and I'm insulting myself basically by doing that, you know, they wouldn't do that. But they don't think like that. They are not aware of what's going on. This is why working on oneself is so important. This is why people recommend meditating or anything that resonates with you, that you can, you know, see who you are, hypnosis, just see those traumas, go back, change maybe the ending of the story. Where did this come from? And I'm also going to be talking about, maybe in the next video, the trauma, about being the response as opposed to the memory. And a lot of people are reacting from, you know, let's say some person can say a sentence or a word that said back when they had the trauma, or back to that person that hurt them, and now they're gonna attack this person verbally without even realizing it's not this person's fault. This person did not do anything. It's because I had unresolved issues, I had trauma that I didn't heal from, that triggered me from that. And instead of having the memory of the trauma, I'm having the response. And a lot of the responses are whether attacking, whether stop speaking to another person. There are a lot of, different ways that someone are going to react to the certain triggers. But this person had nothing to do with it. I think I said this story once, when there was a mother that avoided conflict at all costs, because when she was younger, there were so many conflicts that she just went the opposite side of the spectrum, which again just makes things worse. And the way that she was speaking, and she didn't want help, she didn't want therapy, she didn't want professional help, nothing. Like, she just, that's who I am, this is who I am, and not changing, and done. And I said, you know what, because I've seen these patterns, I've met enough people, I've seen, I can see what that's gonna do and what's gonna happen if you don't resolve this. And I said with all my love, and I said, if you don't deal with this, if you don't heal, if you don't work on yourself, if you don't get help, you're gonna hurt a person that you love and that you care for. Not intentionally, you're gonna hurt them. And they're like, no, I'm not, I know how I'm dealing with, I know what I'm like. Also, this person has, multiple children. And she said, I don't know why my children don't treat me nicely. I know some others that are, much worse than I am. I don't know why, why won't they respect me, etc., etc., which, again, what I'm gonna say will make it obvious. And this person had a bottle of wine, I wanted to say alcohol, bottle of wine, in maybe an hour or something, and she started attacking verbally her son like nuts. And I'm seeing this and I'm thinking, I did pre-warn you that you're gonna hurt someone. However, as this person was saying these things, she was comparing this person to their father, so her ex. And so it wasn't this person that was doing anything, because they weren't. They literally did not, they weren't grumpy. They didn't say anything like, they didn't start anything. What they said was, I'm gonna, move. I need to rest. I need to, I don't know, move somewhere else. I need to just, stay away so I don't bring this energy to you. And they just exploded like I can't even describe to you. And the thing about is, after everything has been through and stuff, I asked, why did you do that? Like, why? I mean, you just hurt your own son. Why did you do that? And she said, well, it needed to be said. And this is how we're hurting others, as a trauma response as opposed to the memory. She thought she was right to do that. And this is why a lot of abusers, so many, if not even all of them, they think they're doing the right thing. They think they're saying the right thing. They think by attacking them, they're doing the right thing. My father, when he was beating me up, he thought he was doing it out of love. We have a saying, I don't know if there's one in English, like beating someone came from heaven, like came out of heaven. And I know later on I always used to say, well, why do you think it came out and it's no longer in heaven? But where I'm from, people like my father, I'm not saying all of them are like that, but they think they're doing that out of love. They're doing it because it's the right thing. They don't realize that it's the cowardness, it's the insecurities, it's the powerlessness, because everything else that they tried has not worked and they don't know how to deal with it. So let's just hit it, because it's the easiest thing to do. Nothing else has been working. I don't know to think about another solution. I'm feeling powerless as a parent. Let's just beat the out of this person. And I'm really so hoping you're gonna get this. First of all, stay away from those people, whoever those people are in your life, because they're not gonna bring more happiness, more joy into your life. Although that, yes, that comes from within us. I know some are gonna say everything comes from within us. I do understand that. However, when you have a person within the room that, let's say, you love, even though, you're not necessarily in touch with them a lot, but if they're grumpy, if they're miserable, if they're angry, imagine you just sitting there and going, I'm happy. Like, it's not, for me, natural. If a person, yes, again, happiness, joy comes from within us, but we also do empathize with others. We also don't like seeing other people, sad. We don't like seeing other people angry. If we know if we smile, it's just gonna aggravate that person, and we're not the sort of person that is gonna go on other people's, level and, go down below to be exactly like they are. So when you remove yourself from that situation, when you remove yourself from that person, you don't have to, put the sparkles, dim your sparkles down. You can actually smile without thinking, if I show my happiness, maybe I'm going to insult them. There's just not gonna, because if you go from a fact, well, I don't care if I insult them or not. That's not right. Especially if you claim that you love this person. You should empathize with them. You should understand them. One of the reasons I don't like watching the news, it's not because, when they show all these sad things, it's because it makes me sad. I can't just stand there and be like, oh, they're, miserable and I'll just be happy. Like, it doesn't resonate with me. But I know if I don't watch it, I'm not gonna be sad. I can still continue being happy. I can still continue being joyous. I can still continue creating more of the high vibration that adds into the world. So whatever it is that is making you sad, that is making you, that you can't really, express yourself, even if it's going to the other room, just do something that it's, that your vibration can actually be high and can actually be joy, and can even, a lot of people will say, well, they're my parents, well, they're my this, they're my that. If they really love you, they would like you to be happy. They would want you to be happy. If you were happy, they would let you be happy. They would not insult you. They would not speak badly of you. They would only share things that would make you more happy, and they themselves would be happy for you. They would work on themselves for you. They love you. So they'll also make sure that they're happy, that they're joyous, that they heal their own traumas, that they take care of themselves so they can be a better person for you. And if they're not doing that, again, it's not because of you specifically, it's because of them. They're still projecting their pain, they're still projecting their trauma onto other people, they still haven't healed from that, they still live in the past, they are still in that bubble of low vibration, and they just can't yet snap out of it. And again, it has nothing to do with you, which does not mean you can't send them love. Of course, send them love, give them hugs if you can, give them compliments. You can do from your side whatever you can to make them feel better. We have mirror neurons in our heads, and they say even if you give someone a smile, that already starts in someone's brain creating the smile. And even if that smile doesn't show up on someone's face, still you made a positive change on their brain. So everything that you would like them to be for you, you be that for them. And if there are situations and times where you have to remove yourself from that because you can see you can't control yourself, you see your vibration keeps going lower and lower and lower, and you just can't, raise your vibration after that, separate yourself. I've been in, when I started going on this journey, there were years where I didn't speak to almost everyone in my family but my mom. And even with my mother, I stopped speaking to her for a while. Not for a long time, but I tried maybe texts or something as opposed to calling her. But for years, I didn't speak to, and I just cut everyone out. Not badly, not, arguing, nothing. Changed my number, changed the country, changed everything. All this, social, I want to say social networks, all the apps. My brain stopped. I don't know what they're called. You know what I mean. I unsubscribed myself or deleted the account, or I did everything like that. No one could find me. No one knew my number. No one knew where I was. No one knew what I was doing. No one knew anything. And I did not want to speak to anybody because I knew that if I were to listen to them, I would just go lower and lower and lower. And I was so low, and realized that this is not helping me. The relationship with them is not helping me. The conversation with them is not helping me. Me listening to their opinion, and I don't even know what my own is. I don't even know who I am. I realized I need to stay away from everyone, not because they're bad, because I wanted to know who I am. I wanted to know what my opinions are. I wanted to know where I stand in life, how I look at life. If I plug myself out and I don't see them anymore, I don't hear from them anymore, I can just hear myself. And obviously the good stuff comes, the bad stuff comes, a lot of the bad stuff comes, a lot of healing comes, a lot of the memories, that trigger something come, and you just work on that. Again, you have my videos on my YouTube, lots of them, so just, have a look at all of them. If you have any questions, just let me know. And I just, again, years have passed, and I've realized I know who I am. I know what my opinions are. I know where I stand in life. I know what I love. I know what I don't like. And obviously, throughout this whole physical life, we're going to have more and more experiences that we're going to have to choose whether that's for us or not, etc., etc. But at that point, for the past that I had, I knew where I was standing. And from then moment onwards, I went back into the real world. I went back to everyone else, and then sort of started clearing people up. I was like, whether I'm aligning with this person or not. If not, bye-bye. With the kindest possible way, with sending them love, never thinking poorly of them, never thinking you're not. We all have the same value, so I don't think that someone is, higher or below me, nothing like that. There's so many of us on this planet. We're not gonna align with everyone. And I was just paying attention to whether I'm aligning with someone, also whether they're aligning with me or not. And if we're not aligning, bye, best wishes, bye. And when I clear the when I clear the people up, I made spaces for new people that came into my life that are just amazing, and that now we align, and we are growing together, and we have the same values, and we have the same points in regarding to the world, and that we can discuss things without someone getting upset or without someone getting angry. We're just talking, as people should be talking. If we were all just get along and realize that diversity is, the whole point of us being here, it's diversity, and having so many different variety. And if we can just come from that point of view, and also be kind to those that need the most love, those people that are attacking someone, those people that are abusive to someone, bullies, they need them. It's like a cry for help. They need the most love. They don't need the most naive people that they can take advantage of, which people, confuse. They need love, they need hugs, they need joy, they need someone to comfort them, to be there for them, which again, we can't necessarily be if this person is going to exploit us. We can still send them love. We can still wish them the best. If you were to go now on the internet, the amount of negative comments, the amount of low vibrational comments, but those low vibrations only say about that person that has said it. However, if this person doesn't understand that, they're gonna get insulted, they're gonna get hurt. And then this person is not getting the love that they're supposed to in order to heal and move on and be happy and just be better maybe in life, but are getting more of these comments. And, that can spiral out. But please, please understand that anyone that is insulting anyone doesn't have to be you. It's just a projection of themselves. They are telling you who they are, not who you are. They're telling to the other person who they are, not who this other person that they're trying to attack is. And then when you understand that, you just know that no one is going to insult you, because it's just their own projection. However, if you start insulting others, that's also projection of yourself. If you speak badly, poorly about yourself, look into yourself, see where your pain is, see where the trauma is, get professional help, work on healing. I have How to Love Yourself. I'll link it down below, which from everything starts with. So do that first and, move forward. But that's that's the base of everything. And I'll repeat that, for as long as I can. Self-love, How to Love Yourself. If you don't know, link down below. It's the base. That's where your start is supposed to be. And then work on yourself. Work on self-love. When you love yourself, when you're on high vibration, when you're just having peace and having serenity and just loving, you're not ever going to insult not only yourself, other person. That's how you know also, okay, someone is insulting others. They're not happy. They're not fulfilled. They're not joyous. They don't have any peace. They're most likely still living in the past. They're probably still kids that are being hurt, living in adult person's body. You shouldn't be attacking them back then. You should, from understanding, send them love, even from afar. You don't ever have to speak to this person. You don't ever have to send them a text or have any sort of communication. From afar, you can just send them love. Send them high vibrations. Send them, I wish for your healing. Hope the healing comes for you. Hope that person or something happens that, it's gonna make you in a way of working on yourself, make you work on your healing, make you be a better person for yourself, and then like that for the rest of the world. So I'm really hoping I explain something about insults and, whether you actually respect people that are insulting you. And even if you do, which is mostly kids, anyone who is under 25 years of age, they can be really insulting, but their brain hasn't developed yet. And again, when you do understand that, then you don't feel bad. You don't think like you failed as a parent or as a grandparent or as a sibling. You just understand that, maybe they won't even remember, or they will feel guilty, but not that they actually meant it. And again, if they did mean it, it's maybe how they feel inside. Look, okay, if someone's projecting themselves onto me, they're not insulting me, they're projecting themselves. Maybe they have low self-esteem, maybe they don't have enough confidence. We should work this out. We should talk to them. We should maybe seek help, go to therapy together. Okay, this is just cry for help. I need maybe to give more love, more attention, not directly ask them what's wrong with you, or if there's, because, you should never ask that question. It's not that something's wrong with someone. They're just intentionally or unintentionally sharing who they are, expressing who they are. So then think, okay, if this is their own projection of themselves, what can I do about it? How can I show more love, more understanding? I ask my daughter although she's still little, really, really often. I wanted to say once a week, but I don't. But I'll probably start as she gets older more often. How can I be a better mom? How can I be a better mom for you? I don't want my child to grow up and said, oh, I wish you were like this, like this, like this. Well, then you should have told me then. Well, in order to avoid all of that, how can I be a better mom for you? What do you want me to work on more? How do you want me to treat you more? And start implementing that, even if a child is not used to that, so it's going to take them some time. But anything that you know your child the best, what will work the most so they can open up to you, and then what can you do to change that? What are the methods that you can change? If you are the one who has low self-esteem as a parent and now your kid does, it's because they were watching you. So sometimes we need to change as parents, and we fixing our own traumas, healing our own traumas. I wanted to say fixing problems, but it's all quotes. Healing our traumas, working on ourselves, learn to love ourselves, work on all of us to be the best possible parents that they deserve, which is seeing a parent happy, joyous, doing what they love, feeling confident, loving themselves, being proud of themselves, loving their body, loving this world that we live in. And then if they now grew up more than, when they were little, why you're doing this, you can teach them. Set the example. You set the example as a parent. And then if they're too old to copy you now, just make sure every time you see them, you give them that energy. Explore more, research more on YouTube, how to speak with kids, what stories to tell depending on the age, how to approach them. You have so many tools now for, whatever you need with love. I mean, there are some advices that, I don't even know how they're allowed on the internet. Everything that is with love, being kind, not being naive, being kind. I'm really, really hoping this video helped. It's not my longest one, so enjoy your day. Have a fabulous weekend, and I'll see you next time. Love you guys. Bye.